Hello everyone, I'm Comfort Olatunde, and today I have here with me Coach Chudi Kalu, the co-founder of Chase Property Limited and the developer of Fairfield Apartment. Today is going to be giving us deep insight on the journey and the roadmap of Fairfield Apartment. Abijah is one of the buzzing area in Lagos State, Nigeria right now, and I'm so sure that a few years back it wasn't so, and given the fact that there are a lot of new developments in that area. So what took you to Abijah? Why, as in, how did you find your gold there?
As a property developer, coming out during the time we went into Abijah, we're coming out of what we call a corporate recession.
Okay.
And we needed to do some things. We had a good number recorded a good number of successes as a company in the time past, and we were very much comfortable with some of those successes that we'll experience. Then we experienced a dive. We experienced a dive in because we're not really focusing. We don't really have a particular direction as to what type of development we want to be running.
Okay.
And so there was no. We're not expanding. There was no stability for us as a company. In fact, I remember going to a site around Shongotedo,
okay,
and we were going to sell a plot of land, 3 plots of land for about 1.2 million naira to us. And I looked at it, I said, no, I don't want it.
Why? How did you
I just didn't know, because if I knew what I knew now, I would probably have jumped right at it.
Oh, wow.
But I did not. And so I watched that property grow, and that was this time around, I think that was in 2014.
Oh, wow.
So when I saw the property appreciate so fast, got to a point, the property, 1 plot of land was now selling for, I think, maybe 10 million naira or so.
Wow.
Within that space of 4 years, I saw it grow.
From 1.2
million naira, which was one acre is about 6 plots of land. So you could imagine then they were selling 1 plot for 200,000 naira.
Wow.
That was in Shongotedo. So I now saw how from 200,000 naira the present property jumped to 10 million naira. Said, okay, let us just jump right. So we couldn't even afford that property in 2018 anymore. Even if we had 5 million naira, we could not buy that property. So we moved on and we moved to Abijah. And so we decided to take on Abijah. And that was in 2018. And they said the rest is history.
Wow. So when we went for site inspection on Saturday, 9th of April, I heard you saying that to get into where Fairfield is right now, you had to use canoe to actually get inside. So when you saw that waterlogged area, like, it's amazing what you actually built right now at Fairfield. It's mind-blowing, and I'm sure that anybody that were with you back there wouldn't have seen that picture. But what inspired you to actually go through with that plan, despite the waterlogged area? Because I'm sure a lot of developers might have just turned back. But what gave you the go ahead? What gave you the push to continue the progress?
First of all, developers are like, in a way, they're like God. So the ability to be able to create something out of nothing, to be able to see something out of nothing is should be one of the major things that everybody should be able to hold on to. So when I went to the site and I saw water, it was also happy. Sometimes the water will get to, during the dry season, the water will get probably to your waist.
Wow.
Then when it is raining, it probably gets to your neck. You don't have any option but to make it work. Because you are coming from, and that's one thing about if you have failed before, it is important for you to, that, okay, you don't have any of that option because you've experienced failure before. So it's just for you to succeed. You can't say, okay, you know what, I won't try it, because it is when you are big that you are afraid of taking certain steps. But when you have failed before, you will not be afraid of taking certain steps, because after all, it's just failure. So I really didn't have so much option but that to make it work. Right now, what we have on ground on that side is about 43 acres.
Wow.
As I speak
from
with you,
10 acres?
from 5 acres.
From 5 acres to 43
But as I
acres.
speak with you, we are adding more to the project. We are adding additional, I think, 75 acres to what we currently have. Works are already being on ground for us to do that expansion for us, because of what you are saying. As I said, it's about domination. And what we have brought into that particular area, I think practically no developer has ever done such in that area. If you mention Abijah, you can't mention that location without mentioning our projects. Because I know that, okay, I know a number of people who are already on that site, who are already around that site, but have not done a whole lot at all. But by virtue of our presence within that area, it has brought in light, it has brought in opportunity, It also brought in a lot of economic activity within that particular space. While we see the excitement, there was a whole lot of work behind the scene that brought about whatever we have seen now.
That's very good. So looking at it, you mentioned that because of the demand of the property, you had to make some few changes. So the changes you made, does it affect the whole structure of the estate? Like, for instance, you mentioned the lake. Was there a lake in your mind from the beginning? Was there I know there is a sports arena, but there is a sports arena from the beginning. What are those significant changes you made to the estate between 3 years ago and now?
Position for the lake is still very much on the site. However, it's not something that we're going to take up immediately, but it's still there. The design is there. We are going to what is going to now run as an artificial lake rather than our initial. Though it was supposed to be also an artificial lake anyway, but it's something that we are now consciously doing. It is going to be cheaper for us also building the lake as against what we had previously before. That's one. Then also on the aspect of turning Eastland into golf course. We already wanted a situation whereby people can always love to come around, to come and play, to enjoy. Because I shouldn't live in a community and I should feel the same stress that I live. It should be that you are in Nigeria, but you are living outside of Nigeria. Anywhere, if it's an estate, except maybe you are living on any other street, but if it's an estate, it should be that you have certain benefits that you have over people that are living on a normal street in town. So what are we going to do? So we decided, okay, let us put something that is quite unusual, which is a golf course. We could have put a basketball court, we could have put all of that. But wanted something that at least when you are there, you are going to be there. If you're going to live in your house, after all the stress, you live in a good ambience. So that when you go and you hustle, you come back, you're pretty much relaxed.
Without having
so within your space and all that, you can, like during the time where there was the coronavirus and the people were locked down in their houses.
Yes.
It doesn't stop you from, because you are living in that particular place. You won't feel bored. You won't feel the need to, even if they say stay there for maybe 2 months or 3 months, you'll be excited and you'll be comfortable. And so that's the concept we wanted to create for those living. And so it hasn't still changed. We still maintain all of that.
And I understand that 3 years ago you had this marvelous idea, and then, like you mentioned, the cost and everything has changed. So how has it impacted your operations and how you run the site? Because I'm sure that the cost in the projections you had 3 years ago, looking at the economy right now, it's very, very different. So how has it affected the operations so far? And what are those things? Should your clients be worried at any point that this new projection would affect what they should be expecting from me in terms of quality and otherwise?
One thing about real estate, especially the kind of real estate that we run, is that no matter how it affected the economy is, people will always still need houses.
Yes. And
we will always have more people who are willing to pay rent than their houses available. Our kind of development can capture such, can absorb.
So what is that kind of development?
That is rental income development, rental properties. If, for example, we're doing maybe single family homes, duplexes and all that, will be adversely affected. I can't imagine how we're going to come out of it, because we sold not at an affordable rate when we sold. But we got to a point where because of the increase in some of the materials, you can imagine the materials that you were buying for maybe 160,000, you're currently buying that for 500,000.
Wow.
So if you're buying iron, maybe the cost of maybe one particular iron, you were buying for maybe 35 million naira. Now you're currently buying that same quantity for 20 million naira. So you can imagine the rates.
Yes.
So if the money you're supposed to deliver maybe about 200, you're probably going to use it to deliver 40.
Yeah.
That's what it simply means. So, but the question is, how then do we do that? We're able to achieve some of that by going back to the client and telling them, okay, this is what has gone, this is what has happened and all that.
Okay, you're communicating with this client and giving them constant updates on what is going on now, what is happening.
But it's just that at the end of the day, there are two ways. It's better because we are not the ones who cost the economy. We are not the one who, it's not our fault. So we give an option. So you can easily, okay, you know what, there are 3 options. Do a refund to people who wanted, but people will not go for the refund. Because while we are doing so, the property keeps increasing in value.
Yes.
So you have a situation whereby somebody who has paid 6.6 million naira for a 2-bedroom and has seen the property appreciate from 6.62 million, 6 million to about
28 million
naira. So if you ask the person, would like to do a refund of 6.6 million naira to you, even if you are asking the person to pay an extra 10 million naira, the person will really, really want to do that 10 million naira to that 6.6, all because they know the value of the value, the thing has gone high. And one thing about rental property is this, and maybe I need to say it here now, for some people who don't know, a rental property value appreciates every 5 years, twice the amount.
Wow.
So if maybe, for example,
5 years from now, the 2-bedroom is 28 million,
will go for 56 million naira.
Wow.
So every 5 years, it keeps appreciating, it doubles in value. But unlike maybe the single family home, the problem is they appreciate every 5 years by maybe 30% or thereabout, between 2 to 30% every 5 years. However, it gets to a point of saturation where nobody will be willing to pay that premium for it anymore.
Yes.
Take a look at some of the developments in Victoria Island, for example. Some of them have gotten to the place of saturation.
Yes.
Where are they going to increase to? Where are they going to increase to? So you have that current situation, because it has gone up to the point where you ask yourself, where is it running to? But guess what is appreciating right now within Victoria Island? 1004, because there are volume of people that are looking for such kind of opportunity.
Yes.
And that's where younger people want to live in, because it gives them opportunity to be able to navigate city centers and all of that.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So one of the key things I actually took from this conversation, from this session, is that you're saying that a 2-bedroom apartment at Fairfield Apartment right now, which is being sold for 28 million naira, in 5 years' time, it will be 56 million.
Yeah.
That is a very, very, I mean, that is a huge.
Sometimes when we say,
that's a huge.
I remember when we were
increase.
saying some of these things, when we were saying it, that okay, this thing we appreciate. I remember I was begging somebody to come and buy land close to Fairfield. That's East Land.
Yes.
I was practically begging the person. There's somebody who was going to invest as an investor from Australia. He had about 76 million. The guy was speaking so much big grammar, speaking and all that. The guy looked, he sent me messages, he would speak and all that. I was practically got to a point, he was looking as though I was begging him. I said to him that if you don't do this investment, you're going to regret. Last year, 2021, he sent me a message that he would like to do the investment, that he has 80 million naira to do investment. He said, no, that can't invest, you can't do it anymore.
To end this section, I want you to tell us what are those specific facility structures and we should be expecting from Fairfield within the next 2 years. I know you mentioned the lake. So what are those other facilities that we should be expecting from Fairfield Apartments?
Now, the game plan for Fairfield is to make it livable, as easy for people to live. What are the tools that makes a place livable, especially within the time that we currently live in? We're adopting the use of technology in our operation. We want to reduce as much as a man-made security, but focus on security that will be tech-based and all that. So it's almost like you are running it like a tech city or so, using technology to run some of our operation, in collecting service charges and all that too, and also in managing the entire estate, because we also want to limit the number of human engagement with people and all that. Yes. So that is going to be the focus. But also, one of the things we initially had that was also not there in Fairfield, that was not there initially rather, was the road network.
Okay.
For the main road network, we're going to use interlocking stone. But looking at it, I realized that it's not going to be sustainable over time. It's easy, we'll make money immediately and all that, but the strength of the road will be very minimal. Yeah. So we decided, okay, let us do what we call concrete road.
Is that the same road you have inside the Fairfield estates?
It's currently the road that we have inside the Fairfield estate. So we have done one on the other side and two on the other side. For the two main entrances, we've done that already. Okay. So it's not part of the original plan, but we figured out that if you're going to have to make people live comfortably, you don't want a situation where by 5 years, 3 years or so, there's pressure on the road, and you have to start maintaining those roads. I want to really appreciate the team, because sometimes when we are bringing up some of these ideas, and people are saying, you know, it's not doable. It's not going to, you can't achieve them. But we have a lot of a team who, okay, you know what, let us just, it's an adventure.
Yes,
let us go and let's give it a try. What will happen? We're going to fail.
Yeah.
And so when we're going to do the kind of building, the 4-story building, the 3-story building, we're going to go 22 meters into the ground. 22 meters is 7-story building into the ground. And you're like, okay, you want to build 4. Guess what we want to do? In the coming year, we're going to have a situation whereby anybody who buys into that distance, we're going to still go into 7-story building on that project. People ask, why are you doing it? Why don't you do it on Lekki Phase 1? But the real issue is that you are bringing something that does not exist into that particular community. Number 2, then I also need to talk about the land. Some people who bought land at Eastland, neighbor to Fairfield, is people who bought land for 900,000 naira. Currently, that same land and 900,000 naira. If I buy five, then it's going to be I bought for 4.5 million naira. So that means that okay, the people's property now, if you multiply it, has gone close to about 100 and something million naira.
Yes.
That's what it means. And they bought for 4.5 million naira some years ago.
Wow.
Maybe 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
Here's the interesting thing. We are also coming up with a situation where we have to have an engagement with those owners, especially for those who have maybe 3 plots of land beyond. And we're going to have to do development together, whereby on every plot they could earn as much as maybe 100 million naira.
Wow.
So you can imagine if somebody has 5 plots or 4 plots out of 5 plots, he's able to give us 4 plots. You can earn as much as 100 million naira.
That's 400 million naira.
That's 400 million naira.
Wow.
Or even if it's 50 million naira, that's 200 million naira by which on what we currently have.
Yes.
So he's able to make more money because he's able to partner with us through what we call a joint venture engagement, whereby we can come and build on your property. We sell. When we sell, we give you we'll give you whatever cost it is, and we know that based on what we have, it's going to be a sellout because of the size of thing that we operate on and all. So it's just an opportunity for people to make money. That's what even gets us excited, and that's what gets myself and the team all excited, because you know when people are making money, they don't complain.
Yes.
You know,
true.
somebody says the person that is eating does not talk.
Yes, but the mouth is full.
Because the mouth is full. So when people are complaining, it's majorly because they're not benefiting for certain things. So the game plan for a developer is to create a situation whereby your client can chop, your client can earn money, because while they're earning, nobody will complain. It's when they stop earning.
But they'll never remember you.
Yeah, so that should be your game plan as a property developer or even as a business person.
Thank you very much, Coach. I really appreciate you for giving us this knowledge, this deep insight that I'm sure a lot of us didn't even know about. And then, so we've come to the end of the session for today. And if you want to learn more about Fairfield Apartments, kindly visit www.middlechase.com. Till we meet again next time, I'm Comfortola today. Bye.